Good morning, lovely warm spring morning. Well, warmish, 9 degrees as I set out. But the air feels springy. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's all the leaves coming out. I'm going to sort of walk south today and back. Of course, that means maybe it smells springy because there's somebody watering their grass over here. Maybe that's why it smells springy. Should water mine. Yeah, I'm gonna walk south and back. That's why this is called South and Back. Lovely morning. The sound was weird yesterday on here. I don't know why. It sounded like I was in a box. Like when I started, I happened to be still inside the entryway to the house, an enclosed space, but it kept that sound after I was outside walking around, so I don't know what that was. I don't know if it's doing it now. I won't know till I watch the recording, so unless you're there and can tell me, but it won't make any difference. It is what it is. If you are there on Facebook or YouTube, let me know. I think YouTube is I'm still kind of feeling my way on the settings for YouTube, but I think they're right for being able to comment live and to watch live. You have to head to the footbridge first, of course. We'll go this way just because I have to go some way. Had a good day yesterday on the Tangled Stars, my space opera that I'm working on for DAW Books. About 3,500 words. Could have done more, but eventually you kind of need to stop and not outright yourself if you're writing fast. If that makes sense. It's a bit like, you know, going downhill, and if you get going too fast, you overbalance and tumble down the hill. It feels a bit like that. If you, for me, if I really writing fast, I can sometimes outwrite my story and need to make sure I'm putting in things that need to be there. Not much else changed since yesterday. Nothing new on the Kickstarter, except I think I'm ready this weekend to make available the ebook extravaganzas, as I call them, collections of ebooks from various authors to backers who backed at that level. There's 2 ebook extravaganzas, and some people took one and some took the other, and some get both. So that'll take a bit of organization. There's no podcast this weekend, so I can do Kickstarter stuff instead. Cameron Street is where we find our footbridge. I have to mow grass with a yard like this. There's a certain appeal to that. It's kind of a minimalist approach. Our grass is terrible. It's shaded, and it took a beating when we did renovations, and it's patchy, and I've tried, you know, spreading seed and all that sort of stuff. Never managed to make anything much fill in the patches, so at some point we'll need new sod. Trying to get the camera to decide where it wants to be. How green everything's getting. Last time I walked down south like I'm doing today, I think it was the last time, on the east side of Albert where I'll end up, it snowed on me, so I don't think I have to worry about that today. It's not exactly a cloudless sky, although those are actually contrails up there, if that counts as clouds or not. Is it cloudless except for the contrails? The contrails. Not quite. There's some low cloud or some thin cloud for the west. Up. Don't you go unstable on me, internet connection. There's no excuse for that. No excuse for an unstable internet connection down here. Never had it before. Oh yes, we walked by this house being built a little earlier this week. Still working on it. That one there. Still getting unstable internet. Warning. I hope YouTube stays up. It's usually the first one to fail. I don't think Facebook ever fails, but it'll get glitchy. Probably was just then. So another reason, if you're there, let me know that you're there, just so I know my streams are working. There it is again. Oh well, as I always say when that happens, more people watch the recording, I think. So I'm not entirely sure. Here's the usual look at the creek. Really fine spring morning. That way. Here's a look the other way. See the contrail reflected in the water. Across Regina Avenue here. Let's start this way. Because I'm planning to go down the next street over anyway. Be able to go after this car. There we go. Could probably have done without the sweater at all this morning. As warm as it is. Saw the girls in shorts, that's how warm it is. New one over there that matches the neighborhood nicely. This, I think it's completely new. Might have been renovated. I think it's new. the weird little traffic control islands I've pointed out before. Been there a long time. Nobody knows why. Why did they do that? Slow down the traffic in a residential area, maybe? Which I suppose it does. Look how green it's getting. They're driving through the alleys for some reason. Yep, I'm gonna wish I'd come out in shirt sleeves. I'll be wearing shorts pretty soon. Don't worry, I'll stay off camera. I'll take another zig here to the right on Metallic. Still haven't had anybody say hi this morning. If you're there, say hi. Still not fully leafed out, just a pale hint of green up in the elms. A lot of the bushes are getting pretty leafy, and some other trees are quite leafed out. There's one over there that's pretty much fully out. It is May 13th, so one would hope. Interesting windows on that one. That front window that matches the shape of the roof. We'll zig to the left again here momentarily. This is McCallum. We can cross here now. Oh, we'll wait for him. Wouldn't want to get run over on my live stream, even though it might go viral. Albert's up there where the cars are going by. We're gonna zig one more time before we get all the way to Albert. Very warm in the sun. Nice older one there in the corner. Everything looking quite pretty this time of year. It's a nice one. Again, I'm a sucker for the half-timbered look. That Tudor England kind of thing. And that one's quite large, and it even has an attached garage back here. All with that same look I like, so. Nice house. I guess, never been in it. For all I know, it's falling apart, but it looks nice from the outside. The nice things about these neighborhoods is the way that the trees arch over the street. So you get a kind of canopy effect once they're fully leafed out. Of course, in the spring, you got a lot of leaves to get rid of around here and in our neighborhood too. Another one with that same half-timbered look that I like. And yet there's a brand new one over there. Okay, I think this will take us to Albert now. But we won't cross up here because it's no light. It's not Snow White, no light. Someone working on the roof over there in the garage. Our roof on our garage could certainly use replacing, but it seems no priority. It's not leaking, and it's nothing inside it except 2 old cars. One of which I should get up and running again soon. I didn't get driven at all last year because I couldn't get it started. It's a 77 Cadillac. From what I've read, largest sort of regular passenger car ever built. It certainly feels big when you drive it. It's the sort of thing where your perception always changes depending on what vehicle you're in. So I guess there's one more road to go down here before I finish going to the left. So you're driving along, oh, that's a cute little SUV, and then you realize it's a Hummer. But when you're in this Cadillac, it looks small. I've never tried to parallel park it. It would take a huge space. And I don't drive it much because, you know, we have 2 cars anyway, one that we use and one that my daughter's using. And then this one, it's just been in the family for a long time and hardly driven. It only has about 15,000 original miles on it. But because it's parked so much, it doesn't always keep running. In this case, I think the battery is defunct. So I'm gonna have to get CAA out. I can put in a new battery probably in the garage, maybe. We'll see if that does it. And if not, it's gonna have to be towed. And then it needs to go to the shop anyway, just for service. So that's what I'm planning to do eventually this summer. Okay, one more jog to the left will take us to Angus Crescent. Hi. All right, this is Hill Avenue, which has the little shopping center on it down to the right if we went down that way, but we're not going down that way. We're going left. There's a light here where we can cross Albert, which is helpful. Nice house on this corner with that same half-timbered look as well. Also, a turret. I love turrets, so combine the two. It's one of my favorite houses. Turrets and the Tudor look. Still got the crosswalk going this way, so we will take that. And I want to cross over. Doesn't even have a crosswalk light here, so it must just change automatically. Oh, here it is. I don't believe I've ever crossed on foot at this intersection before. Go down to the end of that sort of boulevard there and you're in the park. Walked by the end of that and walking around the lake, which I'll do tomorrow. Traditional walk around the lake. There we go. So far, no greetings from anyone, not even Roger, who's often on Facebook. But it's, if you're there, let me know. Sun's bright, but I can probably read it. I don't fiddle around with my YouTube settings after this. I shouldn't. What I discovered was, if you make a change in YouTube, it remembers it. So I set a video to private, and it decided I wanted my next video to be private as well, which I really didn't. And so then nobody was able to watch a couple of days ago. Let's see, well, I think I still want to go down this way. Not quite go in behind this building yet. Another sign of spring, people mowing grass. Why are they wearing masks? That's so stupid. Absolutely no risk of transmission or infection when you're mowing the grass by yourself outside, and yet they're required to wear masks. Practically a religious cult. Sure, wear them when it makes sense, but don't wear them when it doesn't make sense. This is Lloyd Place, one of the government buildings along here. Now, I have to make a choice. I think I want to keep going, go around the front of the Mckenzie and head down that way. Could turn left, but then I have to walk through the grass and it might be wet. The first time I walked down here, there was still snow too, and then it snowed when I walked down here. It snowed unexpectedly. I think the last time I walked down here. Morning. Well, I do like taking this little path, so maybe I'll do what I did the first time I came down here. Walk along behind T.C. Douglas building, which has the Mckenzie Art Gallery in it. And I'll go around the end. Or I can stay on this side, like I did the first time I came down here. The second time. I've actually forgotten how many times I've been down this way. It's a nice building. Ties in with the landscape really well. The hanging gardens there are still not green, but that will come. Mckenzie Art Gallery is in there. There's also a little theater, one of several theaters named after the Shumiachers, who were great patrons of the arts and friends of our family, my wife's family. So I've done many performances in the little theater that's in here as part of the Mckenzie Art Gallery. It's more of a lecture theater, but you can do a decent show there. Both of the ones I wrote for Regina Lyric Musical Theater, as time goes by, a love story with music and ghosts, and what's the other one called? The other one's more recent. It's on my YouTube channel. You can watch the whole thing, and it's called The Music Shop. That's what it's called. Both of them were done in there, and I knew that from the beginning, which helped with the writing because I knew what kind of limitations I had. Space-wise, you can exit left, you can exit right. That's it. You can't get around. There's not a backdrop or a cyc or anything, so you have to go quite a ways to change sides of the theater. No wings to speak of. You have to put up curtains to make wings or flats. But it works. The seats are comfortable at least, and it's small, so there's no concern with sound not being heard. And both shows are really very successful. People like them. What more can you ask for? They both used existing songs. They were plays with music, not musicals. And the music was existing. Lyric has or the theater, I don't know which one. There's this sort of agreement with the Canadian Association of Composers and so forth. I don't remember the exact name of it. So you can use songs, and we kind of did it under that. Means it can't really be transferred anywhere unless somebody looks after the rights similarly or in some other way to use that music. Yeah, we'll go this way. But it is on YouTube. Of course, it got a copyright hit, but it didn't get taken down. It just means that I can't monetize it, but it's not getting the kind of views that makes any difference. The same with the videos I posted of me and my wife and our daughter singing, which you can also find on the YouTube channel right now, from the lyric show, Regina Lyric Musical Theater online concert. Flip the Script, Broadway in Reverse. I did the quartet, How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria, all four nuns. My wife and I did Sue Me from Guys and Dolls, and Alice did Tonight at 8 from She Loves Me. And although Guys and Dolls didn't get picked up, that's a copyright thing. The other two got copyright hits on them. But again, the note says, you know, copyright owner will let you post this, you just can't make any money off of it. And well, I'm not gonna make any money off of it. I think two of the videos have 8 views and my quartet has 28 views, so no big deal. That's not why I posted it. So if you'd like to see that, you can go there. And if you want to see my show, The Music Shop, it's also on my YouTube channel, readily available. There's actually 2 versions of it, although I think I only put one in the playlist. There's a teenage girl in it, and that was double cast. So I recorded both shows, both versions of the show, one with her and one with the other girl. One with each girl. Oh, flowers. And I can really smell them too. I smelled them before I saw them. Spring, it's spring. You know, it's a song from Camelot. It's May, the lusty month of May. This is the Wascana Rehab Center here. We will take this path that obviously other people have taken since it's wearing it down through the grass. If anyone is with me live, leave me a note so I know you're there. It's been a lonely walk so far in that regard. It's always a lonely walk since I'm really by myself, but it's less lonely when somebody says hi. The sidewalk over there. Here's the front entrance. As I said before, I sang years ago. I went in and sang for patients, and one of the songs I did was Don't Get Around Much Anymore, and then it occurred to me afterwards that maybe it wasn't the best song to sing for rehab patients who literally can't get around much anymore. Not that anybody complained, but it did cross my mind after the fact. Going to the nice paths they have on the other side of these trees. Again, it was snowing the last time I was here. It's wandered off kilter again. Getting off there for some reason. A pond over here, or slough I would call it. I guess that's technically a farm thing, but call it what you like. Not a swimming hole, wouldn't want to swim in it. I have swum in water almost like that. Regretted it afterwards. It was hot. I went in and I regretted it because it was icky. Very, very icky, I think is the technical term. So these nice paths all through here. There's the path, the pond again. We'll go this way. Kind of started to work our way home, but still going further east before having to go back west. It's just kind of a nice green grassy area with these paths through it. Tree farm ahead of us for the city. As I have pointed out several times, every tree in Regina, pretty much, there might be some have sprung up, of course, from the other trees, but every tree in Regina was planted, more or less. Trees don't grow in this part of Saskatchewan on the prairie naturally. You might see some willows along rivers and creeks where the seeds could have been transported and there's lots of water, but they don't spread beyond that usually. So generally speaking, it's a treeless plain, and every tree you see here was certainly planted by someone. The straight lines are a dead giveaway, of course. That's the tree farm over there. There's some trees in rows further over. Straight ahead of us is the park. Let's stay on this so we can go around the little boulder and artwork up here, which I did once before. There's the trees and geese, of course, always geese. And the building off in the distance there is the tall one, is the Connexus Art Center, main theater. Symphony hangs out there. Visiting Broadway shows go there. I performed there, and even directed a show. Was on there. Where's this truck going? There's a little bit of artwork that I've pointed out before, called Wrap. Is the I-beam being constrained and controlled by the wrapped bar, or is it being encircled and embraced? You decide. So, you decide. I'll carry on this way. Looks like they stockpile other things in there too. It's not just trees. Still no hellos from anybody this morning. Find out when I get back if anybody's watched on YouTube who didn't say hello. Hopefully this one is actually findable and I didn't screw that up again. Arboritum Park. Oh, that's what this is called. Okay. The trucks driving around on these paths is a little disconcerting. We're on the dirt road this time to avoid the truck. I don't know why it's driving around. No, it's not exactly scenic. Now we're headed home. Definitely turned the corner, literally. If we go to the right, we end up walking through the park around the lake, which I'll do tomorrow, so I won't go over there. I'll stay on this side. Getting quite warm. Well, walking on the dirt road didn't exactly add anything. It was been more scenic if I'd stayed on the pavement. Oh, squirrel. I think they're just doing cleanup, the truck people. I'll switch hands for once. Usually doesn't bother me, but for some reason it's... So, if I point that one, you can tell, fresh hand. A lot of the adjustments I think I have to make are due to my hand getting more tired and wrist dripping, not dripping, drooping. Maybe dripping if I get hot enough. There you can see the lake through the trees. And downtown over there through the trees. We're not going over there. We're going to stay on this side. So, definitely not the most direct route by doing zigzags like this, but that's okay. And now you can see Wascana Rehab again. Switch it back again. I don't like holding it with my left hand, being right-handed. Could possibly walk down there and not get stuck. Well, let's see what's down there. Maybe a dead end, or this sidewalk might curve around the windows down here. We'll see. No, it's a dead end. Well, you could walk on the grass, I guess, but anyway, here's this end of the Wascana Rehab Center. I guess the sidewalk cuts back, so it's not quite a dead end. I was thinking it would walk around right outside the windows. It just goes this way. So we'll keep following it. Going up this way over here, it just leads to a parking lot over there, which I walked through last time, but I'd rather stay a little further away. When I started at the Science Center, one of the early things I did as communications officer was we put up posters here inside this thing, which was intended to be a kind of a tourist information spot. But over time, it has just become a gazebo. Even then, I wondered how that was supposed to work, because nobody would pull in here normally, and you can't tell what it is from the back. So, but I was there for the opening of that. I remember a press conference, or not a press conference, but a official event. I may have organized it. I don't remember. Oh, there's my first unstable internet warning since, well, this will take us into the park, but that's okay at this point. It's either that or walk on the road, which I'd rather not do. Technically, I think that's part of the park too, but this is what I think of as the park. It's the park immediately around the lake. There's actually a monument in here I don't think I've stopped to look at last time I came by. So let's do that now. There's quite a few monuments of various sorts around the park. This is Boy Scouts commemorating the 60th anniversary of the province of Saskatchewan and the 50th anniversary of the Boy Scouts of Canada. 1965 this was installed. And each one of these has various Scoutish attributes: brotherly, courteous, kind, obedient, etc. Cheerful, thrifty, clean, trustworthy, and loyal. And this one, truthful? No, helpful. There we go. Normally I'm over there walking around the lake, so this is a bit different to walk on this path. I think somebody having a picnic, which is nice. Or at least enjoying the grass and the sun. We won't point the camera at them. So many choices, lots of little park benches and so forth. Over there is the totem pole I've stopped at before. Guess we'll go that way. Last time I was down here I turned left at this fork. This time I'll go this way to take us by the totem pole. Oop, squirrel. The sign that explains it is not there, so I can't give you the details. Cleanup going on over here to my left, leaf blowers. Wondering where the noise is coming from. And again, wearing masks, which just makes no sense at all for what they're doing. Helicopter going overhead. That'd be a STARS helicopter, the air ambulance. I guess there's another sculpture over here I've never gone by, so let's go take a look at it. Called to serve. This monument recognizes the significant recognition of the more than 5,500 Catholic sisters to education, healthcare, and social services in Saskatchewan since 1860. Sisters founded many of the first hospitals, schools, orphanages, and homes for the elderly, providing care and support with faith, courage, compassion, and a strong sense of being called to serve. Unveiled and blessed on October 1st, 2015. And it looks like the first nuns here were the Sisters of Charity of Montreal, the Grey Nuns, 1860. And what's now the Pasqua Hospital, when my mom was in it, when I was a kid, for some surgery, was called originally Grey Nuns Hospital. Can I get through there without getting caught in the branches? I don't want to bend that low. Still ran into a branch. If we get through here. I don't want to continue around the lake path because that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. So we will now cross on over back towards Albert Street. Legislative building is over there, of course. This is maintenance building of some sort. And the next one is, or was, a powerhouse. I don't actually know if it still generates power for the legislative building. If it's on its own power, I doubt it. But I don't know that for sure. I don't think going by here in the winter I've seen huge clouds of steam coming out of those smokestacks, which would indicate it was still generating power. So I suspect not, but I don't know for sure. There was a similar small power station in Weyburn, might have done there, that powered the Saskatchewan Hospital, mental hospital, which by the time I was there was Souris Valley Regional Care Center. Huge old complex, massive, 4 stories, 4 huge wings. Souris Valley Extended Care Hospital didn't use all of it sang in there many times. We'd go there from our school, Western Christian College, and sing for the patients. And I used to rehearse plays there in one of the empty wings. Crocus 80 Theatre that I was part of used an empty room there to rehearse in. It was great because it was huge. You could put up our flats, put up the full set, and rehearse there. The only downside was at least one rehearsal was interrupted by a live bat flying around. Down in the basement, gone now because it was torn down and this thing was not movable, was a mural that had been painted by a mental patient in the 30s. Quite something. I took photos of it for a magazine that was doing an article on it, and I may have written an article about it myself. Certainly the paper did. It is something I should do sometime, you know, in my spare time. My mother collected every single item I had in the Weyburn Review with my name on it. Photos, columns, features, anything with a byline. And I have them in boxes in the basement. It would be interesting to scan them in, put them online. Not so much that I think anybody would want to look at them, although somebody might, but just to preserve them. This is the Walter Scott building, named after the first premier. One of the older office, government office buildings around here. Now, rather than walk down there, which I often do, I'll actually go down Albert Street a little bit here. Getting close now. Still haven't had a single greeting from anybody on Facebook or YouTube this morning. I know I'm boring, but no, I don't think I'm boring. I admit, I do repeat myself. In these walks. I'll go a little further afield. On the weekends, I'm more likely to drive somewhere and walk. On the weekdays, I'm already taking an hour to do this, and I have, you know, writing stuff to do, so this is what the sidewalk alongside Albert looks like for a very long way in both directions. I guess the trees end down there about a block, but you have this long stretch here with very straight, the trees over top of it, legislative buildings over to my right. It's nice to have the trees between you and Albert Street. There are some streets quite busy that the sidewalk is literally right on top of the curb. Those make me nervous. I don't really expect a car to jump the curb, but I don't know what's sticking out from them as they go by. And if you stumble, you know, that would be bad, so. I guess one of the hazards of being an author is imagination. I actually have a character in, it's Ariane, the main character in the Shards of Excalibur books, which begin, Song of the Sword begins in Wascana Lake over there. And the characters live around here too, as I've talked about before, but she's looking at something and her aunt has told her she has too much imagination. And I established that she reads like fantasy novels and science fiction and stuff. Because why wouldn't I? Although Wally, the other character, is even more of a geek. Anyway, too much imagination, I think, is an occupational hazard of a writer because, okay, somebody else, they just walk along the curb, they don't think. I walk along the curb and I think, those cars are awfully close. Why do they jump the curb? What if something's sticking out? What if a bus comes by with its mirror, misjudges it, slams me in the head, kills me instantly on the spot? What if? I don't unfortunately, that applies to things like, you know, I've got a pain. Is it cancer? What if it is? What if it's some unusual disease that nobody's ever heard of? Is this the beginning of the end? Yeah, that applies to that sort of thing too. There's one of the biggest half-timbered style houses along here. South Albert was, of course, a very desirable, this whole Lakeview area over here, but especially along Albert, was a very desirable neighborhood when the ledge was being built and all that sort of thing. Would have been on the edge of town when the ledge was being built. And so you got all these great houses, but of course they're also fronting the busiest street in town because it goes north-south the entire, not width, because it's north-south, I guess height, that's not the right word either, length, I guess, length of the city. And it's noisy, which is why a lot of them have big trees out front and you can barely see them. Like that one there, although spruce blocks the noise, I'm sure, quite nicely. I'm gonna miss this light, but I think we're safe enough. Nobody coming. We will take just a little bit of the walk at the end of the lake so I can go through the underpass. Or I could walk down the bridge, I guess, just to keep it completely different from yesterday, but that seems silly. Although, I could cross over, walk down that side of the bridge. We'll see what the lights are doing when I get to this corner. That'll help make up my mind. How long have I been walking? Just about an hour, so this will be a bit longer than some. A little over an hour by the time I get home. Some are a bit under, some are a bit over. It stays green this way. I might just continue on down the bridge. Save even that little bit of the lakeside walk for tomorrow. A lot of stress doing this every day. It's like, where do I walk? What if people see the same thing again? Will they hate me? But since generally nobody's watching, I don't think I have to worry about that. Certainly nobody seems to be watching live this morning based on the complete absence of comments. Okay, Albert Street Bridge, 1930. Very long bridge, very small amount of water that it crosses up here. It is all part of a dam that created Wascana Lake. So, oh look, they've got the, when I do walk tomorrow, it looks like this aeration fountain is now running. It wasn't there last week, although I did go around the one on the other side of the lake. What if the waterfall's going? We'll find out tomorrow. This is one of those curbs where you don't want to walk too close to the curb, as I was just talking about. All Saskatchewan flags flying here now. They vary. I don't know how the decision's made. I'm sure there's some sort of master schedule. It must be quite a bit of work changing them each time. But I don't think I've ever seen them out here doing it. I just come to the bridge and it's changed. Oh, there's boats in the water. Kayaks over there going in the water. Kayak. And there's someone on a, whatever that is, whatever you call it. I saw one on Wascana Creek a couple of days ago. There's the, we'll take a Panorama of the lake here on this fine spring morning. All the way over to the ledge and back down the other side of the bridge. Tomorrow we will walk around that impressive body of water. Come back for another exciting episode of Walking with Willett. Once in a while it's Wandering with Willett if I just kind of set off without any destination in mind and see where I end up. I only got a little bit lost once, got turned around and went through the same community garden twice, actually thinking it was a different community garden because I came in from a different direction. I figured it out pretty quick, but it was funny. What's going on in that house over there? There's a fire in one of those, maybe the taller one here. It had to be rebuilt. I'll go down through the underpass so I don't have to stop the traffic. And this guy's doing that, the jogger. If somebody happened to do it, I would take advantage of it, but I would rather not stop the traffic. No reason to be annoying. Not while this is open. It wasn't open for a long time. It was full of water after the snow melted, but it's open now. So it's attracting graffiti, as it always does. I have previously expressed my complete and total disgust at people who do graffiti, so I won't repeat myself. It's funny, I don't get an unstable internet connection in a tunnel. I get it out in the open air in the middle of a major residential area. Makes no sense. Okay, just a couple more blocks. I'll be home, sweet home, ready to plunge back into riding the tangled stars. See if I can get another 3,500, 4,000, 5,000 words done today. Another house I like. This one is not exactly a friendly presentation to the street. It's probably very nice inside, but it's kind of antisocial looking. Remember this, tomorrow, if it's 9 degrees and sunny, don't wear a sweater. In fact, I totally could have worn summery shirts and shorts this morning. Once I'd walked a block or two, it would have been warm enough. So I'll remember that. Yeah, gone over an hour. Not too much over. What is it at the moment? 1:08. Yeah, that'll be a little bit longer than anything else I've done this week. Follow that truck. Leopold Crescent. Connects to Albert up there at that end. Oof. Oh, I know what I can do just to be different. I'll walk down the alley to my left. We're pretty much down at the end of the Crescent, so I don't lose much doing that. And it'll be new. So here's the alley to Angus Crescent. The blue bins are recycling, the brown bins are garbage, just in case you ever need to know. You can actually see the downhill slope here, which is interesting. One of the nice things about the houses around here is that the garages are in the back on the alley and not out front. All the new divisions, the garages generally face the street, which is convenient for them, but you get all these blank garage doors facing the street instead of having an unmarred front to the house that you get in these older neighborhoods, like the one in front of us. Wouldn't look nearly as nice if it had garages facing front, taking up some of its forward-facing face. Is that redundant? Coming this way, I get to point the camera at the stop sign, as I often do when I'm ending one of these. And there it is. So, nobody said hello, so I don't know if anybody's watching live. If you are, thanks for walking with me. If you're watching the recording, thanks for that. This is what I do every day now for quite a long while, and I plan to keep doing it. So if you enjoyed it, look for another one tomorrow. Bye for now.